Hello, is this thing on? Alright guys, it's the quarterfinals of the ESL Open Cup today. On the European server, we have in the bottom left side our blue Zerg player from Clash. It is a Reynor. As in the upper right corner, we've got the red Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Now, last time these two played in an ESL Open Cup Europe, it wasn't pretty, to say the least. It was not pretty. It was an absolute beatdown by Reynor. And today could be the same again. He's going to open pool first into the hatch, so he's already playing safe in case ByuN wants to try and proxy racks. So Reynor already playing kind of a pretty safe game, but obviously ByuN not trying to play that aggressive style either. Not trying to proxy, so unless Reynor turns this into something aggressive, this is already looking like a decent early game for ByuN, just where the pool first, and it is something aggressive. There's the Rotron going down. Okay, then. So Reynor's going to get feisty right from the start. Now, ByuN SCV scouts, will he go into the main? I think so. At least I think he'd want to, but these couple of things might stop him. He's going to see the SCV with the Overlord. Yeah, turned around. Ah, that hurts. The only thing you can really do here is obviously because you don't want to scout with the Reaper because you want to keep the Reaper at home because the Lings are threatening, right? So the only thing you can really do is somewhat blindly maybe assume that he's going to play a Roach attack and then you just build a bunker high ground because if you don't, you're just dead. And if you do, the game has to go on. Obviously, if he doesn't Roach rush you, then you've invested into a bunker for no reason. But when he does, the game doesn't end and you don't lose, right? So it's kind of nice not to insta-lose. That's kind of the logic here. Roach is putting a little bit of damage out. Reaper does get chased away to the side. And a starport building from ByuN, who is going to have a Marine in that bunker. Reactor finished up, and he'll make a few more Marines, so it's definitely the right setup here to help ByuN out in the early game. He's definitely going to be on the right track just to begin with. As that Reaper hops up. Cyclone's on the way out. He really is just well set to defend against Roaches here, so there should really not be much of a problem. He's even going to lower the depot. He's like, you know, you want to get in here? Well, you come in here if you want to, Reynor. Might lose one depot. He's already rebuilding a depot in the back, though, and that's not one he needs right away for actual supplies. So, one SCV gets taken down. Didn't pull back away from the bile. Repairing a depot that felt pretty doomed in general is, like I say, once the Cyclone is out, you can start guaranteeing kills on some of these units, and that's how you're going to retake your natural without too many issues. The Orbital Command will provide vision for a while there, and the Ravager is already taking a lot of damage. Another corrosive final, this depot. You don't want to let this go down. I feel like that's unnecessary. I do feel like that depot is very savable, so would like to see that repaired. He's going to salvage the bunker as well. Confident he has enough to hold right now. And going to start moving down this ramp, or at least thinking about it for a moment or so. Cyclone lock onto a Roach for a moment or two, and just going to be seeing the rest of these units moving down the ramp. Plenty of Marines. With this amount of Marines, I think you're okay to fight this. The Cyclone kiting forward as well. Locks on, it's low HP, but there's a second Cyclone. Locked onto the Overlord right now. Just going to get that kill. That corrosive bile actually clips a Marine as well, which is obviously a good little pickup. That is going to be a few losses there for ByuN that were maybe avoidable, but overall he's pushed this back. He's got his natural now up and running. And Reynor obviously built into a lot of Roach Ravager early. That was kind of expensive. That didn't do a lot. He's now at a 10-ish worker lead. His third base is delayed. And honestly, I mean, he's making a lot of lings. He really does not feel super safe right now about what ByuN has going on. And I don't blame him, because ByuN's in a position where counterattack could be pretty scary. So he'll probably need those Zerglings to help him stay alive here. Through the center we go as a couple Cyclones moving up this ramp. Going to get a double lock on for the Overlord kill. Was that not a double? It looked like a double, but the other Cyclone locked on straight away to that Queen after. And Queen at least will get a transfusion. Oh, it's still in range. What? You're kidding me? Oh, it just doesn't go down. Okay, this is kind of an Overlord farm at the front. Link counterattack. No wall off. Oh, I thought for a moment maybe that CC finished to the wall, but it did not. So the counterattack is going to be really good at the same time. Over here, these Queens move forward, and everything of ByuN starts to die. Oh, is this just game over? Maybe not game over, but it's a lot of damage in Reynor's favor. As ByuN probably felt great about, he cancels his third CC as well to get some money back. 16 workers down. Man, how everything can fall apart in just a moment. Reynor thinking so far ahead of time to set up this run by and to know that he could just do so much with the run by. I talked about those lings being made. He instantly got those going for the aggression, used the other lings being made to then defend. And obviously just using the distraction on ByuN's side of the map as a way for him to jump on that army of ByuN to speed up that process as well. That was a thing of beauty. That was actually kind of really well done. Credit to Reynor, it's absolutely due. Because the Lings probably can't do much more, but they're going to go for an active mule. Goes down to the tank-friendly fire, and a couple more SCVs as ByuN is just desperate to start mining. This obviously just ain't it as this Banshee goes down too, so the Banshee's not even doing as much as they'd like to across the map, and, well, yeah. This is kind of like a, just a deadly cycle, because now, he can't wall off because the Lings keep arriving. He's going to drop double engineering bay in the wall, a little bit chunky than Depot's, a little bit healthier as well, but this game is honestly already too far gone. How do you fight back from a 30 worker difference? An army supply. I mean, the army supply is slightly in ByuN's favor, but not in any sort of real substantial way. Only because Reynor is holding down the drone key, and the more he holds down the drone key, the more units he will eventually make to completely win this out. Couple drones going down. Banshee putting in some work already. The Queen's coming back along the left-hand side as the Banshee is kept at bay. Just going to be seeing a few Queens making their way around the left-hand side, just trying to see a little bit of what's going on. Let's see a Spire building up here from Reynor. Dropping in the back of this natural, so there is ByuN at least trying to do something in this game. Stim is done, so you can stim for this if you want. Man, I thought this tank was going to get up right between, like, right here. And if you get right there, you could block the Lings so they could only get one side of the surround, and then the Marines plug this hole. That would have been sick, but maybe the tank didn't fit there. Maybe just didn't have the time to get there. Well, that would have been pretty cool, but obviously just a little bit distracted, a little bit busy, and was not able to pull it out in time, so unfortunately nothing really gained there. A little bit rough. And you do have these Lings at least will be turned away. Just feels like you need so much right now as ByuN still down 20 workers. Reynor building a lot of Ling Bane. Bane speed done soon. He's going to take an upgrade lead because he'll have +2 Carapace. He'll have a Spire finish. He can build Mutas. The list just goes on. Thanks, the Marines just chilling up there. A little bit of a few Banes is going to go rolling through and get by and try and make the natural. Queens getting in, a few drones getting picked off. Queens will kill off the medevac. Oh, over here though. as well. Just Reynor ready to jump on everything, right? I mean, now ByUN'S, most of his army's still flying home. I thought Reynor was just going to go run straight for the natural, but then again, is that just too much? You've already got ByUN on just 2 bases. You know, do you really need to go run into his natural expansion? Well, no, not really. So, there's a moment of calm thinking, calm collected thinking by Reynor. Right, the meter's out. ByUN'S is going to type GG. He knows he's very far behind. The start of that game didn't go his way, and Reynor goes up 1-0 in the round of 8. Game 2. On the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player taking the 1-0 lead is going to be a Reynor. Up against the red Terran bottom right from the Shopify Rebellion, it's ByUN. I'm going to go pool first again. Curious Minds, small map for this second game. Definitely one where we can see some aggression as this game goes on a little bit. Just going to see how Iraq's getting going. Obviously nothing to necessarily pool first for initially, unless you want to be aggressive yourself again as Reynor, which you might be. Maybe he just opens roaches again. I guess we'll see if that's part of his plan here after that very aggressive opening game 1. Let's see what he plans game 2. There's the roach run. Reaper comes through on the barracks, of course. ByUN does SCV scout. SCVs will see the hatchery, not a hatchery first. SCV just going to escape away down the bottom right-hand side. The Reaper goes come around the right there. It's just going to be kind of hanging out on the front of the natural, so this is going to be chilling out up this ramp. Again, a couple of additional roaches all building up at the moment. I feel like Reynor was kind of just content with what his roaches did last time and says, well, hey, if they just do the same this time around, I'm still happy with that. ByUN does actually move his Reaper across the map to try and confirm if it's roaches or not. Will not build the bunker unless he sees them, but now, of course, he sees them, so there's the bunker on the way up. A few roaches just going to go wandering across down that bottom right-hand side. So away they go. This Reaper of ByUN's going to hop up into the main base. Ravager just finishing. Just going to be seeing that Reaper grenade goes down. A couple of roaches coming through here and getting set to go as we move up this ramp. I mean, immediately this orbital is going to lift off and go to the main so you can keep producing SCVs this time. Definitely a way to minimize the damage that he took last time, right? If you just get a couple SCVs out, you're just going to be that much better off when your orbital finally moves back down to the low ground. Now we're going to see the first depot going down immediately. Remember, ByUN wasn't perfect last time either. Lost an SCV. He didn't need to. Lost a couple of units he didn't need to as well in the follow-up. And it was honestly decent for ByUN to begin with. It was the follow-up that ByUN really ran into trouble on. This is a much narrower natural. I don't think you'll have the same problem should it end up in the same kind of situation. Using the orbital right now to keep the vision on the Overlord for the kill. That's cute because now there's no high ground vision for Reynor. So that's the end of these roaches and Ravagers attacking up the ramp. As the orbital will land, and we're just going to be getting a lock on there. Going back up to the high ground. That's your safe haven at the moment that the Roach Ravager just can't do much about. Out to the center of the map we go. Medevac gonna go boosting forward. 14 Zerglings, Link Speed, all of this on the way through. Just gonna see the Medevac continuing to the upper left-hand side, and the command center in the main base of ByuN'S. Yeah, and the third CC up and running. So just continuing that up as well. Just gonna be seeing our army of ByuN'S settling down onto the natural, and again just a unit Cyclone, the Medevac, making their way through the center of the map. Gonna run right into the Roach Ravager, and just manages to save the Cyclone. Just able to keep that alive is obviously a nice little bonus there. Well, Reynors down in workers here, as he's been making a lot of lings. They really just planning to try and run up this ramp and kill him. It really does look like it. Extra Ravagers morphing in off on the right-hand side. So yeah, it really does look as though we are just going to try and commit right now as Reynor. If it just heads on out through to the top side, just going to be seeing the Ravagers ready to make a move and looking as though wants to try and get this aggression going. I mean, ByuN for the moment is staying very safe up this ramp. That's exactly what he needs. Here we go. Ravagers will take down this first bunker very quickly, but the SCVs can plug the hole in the wall, and then the Ravagers will be under fire from the siege tank, and this is a very convincing hold to start us off here as ByuN, so this is not going to be a successful round of aggression from Reynor. He has to back this up. He goes back in a drone. His lair's only halfway done, so that's very delayed from what it wants to be as well. And there's a lot of problems with Reynor's position at the moment that he'll definitely have to look at moving on from here. Tank sieges, a few Ravagers chilling out, a few additional drones on the way. Lair coming through, an additional evolution chamber building on the natural. Plus one missile upgrade coming up from Reynor as well here. As we're just going to be seeing the few Ravagers still building out in the center. Medevac will go for a move just out the front a little bit. We are going to be seeing ByuN making his way up to the top side. There's a couple of queens. Going to move up this ramp as well. Just going to send the creep spread forward, and these few Marines will be unloading. Not really doing too much. I mean, we've got Stim, but we don't have the other upgrades. I mean, unloading here and then stimming forward works well. He's going to be able to grab a Ravager here, right? Reynor actually is able to fight this better than I thought. That was a line of sight block. I thought he couldn't see initially, but I guess the Marine fired, so they fought back. I really thought Reynor might lose a at least a Ravager there, you know? Reynor's just setting up for the 1-1 Roach timing. Now, 1-1 Roaches on this map has been kind of a question mark of mine, because I look at it and I see this third base, it's so open. So, he's going to try and choke it off, building his second factory here, for example. He's got a tank on the high ground, a couple of tanks on the high ground. These tanks don't protect the third, but these tanks do protect these tanks at least, which obviously do protect the third. So, because he's got a lot of tanks already, he might be okay here, ByuN, but I suppose we'll see. Pretty hefty drop to the top side of the map. Want to make sure you get the active creep tumors. Make sure you stop that creep spreading unless queens get back over here. Slow that down as best you can for sure. Going to be seeing a Medevac on the left side being forced away. A couple corrosive files setting up. The Roach Ravager force coming through. The Marine Medevac is going to go boost now down the bottom side. Just seeing the infestation pit building from Reynor in the main, so he is looking to tech on up. ByuN for the moment has definitely dissuaded Reynor from committing full on into him. I would not mind to see a couple of infestors. I don't think Reynor's in the prettiest position at the moment, and Infestor 2 could just land that kind of money fungal, that big connection, something like that could just really make a difference. If you're just going to stim up this ramp, the Bile's well placed with the fact that ByuN was just going to run right into him. Okay. Reynor going to turn this into Lurkers off the Hive Tech. Hydrogen coming through. Lurker will come down pretty much immediately after. And we can kind of just go from there as we have ourselves a 4th command center building as well. So just getting that into position down the ramp. And again, a couple of additional siege tanks continuing on through the 4th base coming in. Our Marines and our Medevac's going to go stimming up here. And that's a couple creep teamers already falling. Good damage dealt by this little bio army. Bottom side, the Roach Ravager coming through. A Cyclone picked off already. The Marine Marauder trying to get over here to fight that Roach Ravager a little bit is going to come right over. Just going to stim straight on in. And they are taking a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Loading back up, back over the right-hand side. Away we go as just see the Lurker still coming through. 2-2 missile upgrades on the way up as well. And there's a little bit of Bioforce moving into the center, just going to clean out some more creep. Tell you what, small map, but having a creep highway like this is just so valuable still for Reynor. Just being able to push up here very freely, knowing there's no Terran units ahead of you to kind of slow you down immediately. ByuN is going to start moving. He wants to make a 2-2 timing happen here. The problem is he's going to be attacking. His Vipers are done. Lurker's on the way, but they won't have their range yet. And it's going to be an interesting one as Reynor is set up to potentially counterattack, flank from multiple sides. It's a very open map, so you definitely have a lot of options when it comes to how exactly you engage here. Looks like ByuN is content to go around the left-hand side. I like that, because at least you've got like this ledge to work with a little bit. Okay, 2-2 is about to finish up. Nidus already on the way from Reynor, as he will counterattack, but into multiple sieged-up tanks here. These Marines are going to stem forward, and Reynor realizing that ain't happening. Now, ByuN gets in position. Like I say, those Lurkers don't have full range for a little while longer, and this is where it's going to be difficult for Reynor to really hold ByuN off, as we see a few more tanks continuing down this ramp. Even the Vipers thinking about what they want to do. I think they want to hit a Blinding Cloud or two, of course. I mean, Abducts would be nice as well, but I feel like it's a situation where a Blinding Cloud would not go amiss, as that's an Overlord farm on the left-hand side. Uh-oh, Reynor. Is that going to supply block you? Maybe he's got a bunch of extra Overlords anyway. It looks like he does. Okay, just didn't have enough. Not the end of the world then. Build 7 new ones as the Roaches on the right side not doing anything though. And the problem is Reynor just can't attack into this many siege tanks. There's always the problem with playing Lurkers off the back of Roaches, I feel like. If the Terran player just has this amount of tanks, how do you ever put your Lurkers into range of them? You need these Vipers to deliver, and that's what they're starting to do, to be fair. Coming in and abduct like that, right? You add up a few of those, and it's definitely going to go a little bit better for you, at least. The Nidus network will go down. We never saw that commit, as we see ByuN taking a 4th base behind this. All these drones still hit in the corner. Did ByuN realize that? Free pickings to be had as tanks pulling a bit further back here. Okay, ByuN does see the drones now, and we'll just try and guarantee killing those off. Reynor just trying to run them around to buy time. ByuN has so many units at home. Like, he is really expecting Reynor to just full-on counterattack, full-on fling his army at his 3rd base, but Reynor's not. Reynor's saying, you know what, I lost this base, that's bad, I lost the drones, but I've got this base up here. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. He knows those tanks are there, he knows ByuN wants him to counterattack, so he's just saying, no, I will not do what you want me to do. Not at all. Smart play from Reynor. I think smart play from ByuN, but also smart play from Reynor, as ByuN starts 3 more commands and starts up Ghosts. Of course, the position he's in is fantastic, and no one's going to deny that. But do you think Reynor's not making it easy for him? Because, you know, ByuN definitely had something of a plan as to what he thought Reynor was going to do, and it's just not being true. We only have 1 tank left here now, so it's finally time to actually just leave as ByuN. We'll see all of his reinforcing tanks starting to make their way to the right side. He's still got a lot of units over here, though, and he's going to dive on this group of Lurkers. Forcing them to stay over this side. He's bought himself the time to get the tanks up here, but there are Blinding Clouds available, and 3 of the tanks already inactive. Now we abduct one of the tanks that are active in. This is going to be a better fight for Reynor, as he puts a lot of his attention to this side, and this hatchery just did not go down, so keeping that alive as well. Also pretty clutch move right here. Army of ByuN down the bottom side. Bios, Ghosts, and Medevacs joining together. Reynor maxed out. ByuN with some money to spend to get maxed out again. Reynor only has 66 drones. Low eco means his actual army supply is pretty huge. It's pretty kind of crazy to see a Zerg playing with a higher army supply than the Terran in this kind of stage of the game. Usually the Terran has less workers, more army, and just, you know, usually they are the one trying to make something happen. Lurk set up on the left side. The tank deflects on the right, though, as well. She says, no, not this time. Lurk is coming through. A couple of snipes going down, and I mean, these few Lurkers will just get dealt with pretty well. Pretty handily. I mean, Dune going to be annoying. Big fight happening over here, though. Does ByuN have the force to hold this off? I mean, he doesn't have the ghost snipes anymore, so he might have to fight into the Lurkers, which are getting into better and better position. There's actually a lot of goes off to the bottom side that I didn't see initially. They need to do damage. They need to help you break out of this, right? Because if these Lurkers are not going down effectively, they can just kill the Bioforce. And that's why ByuN was in trouble. Being pushed up his ramp by the Lurkers was not pretty at all. But now he comes through, and he's sniping down all of them. So Lurker after Lurker dropping here. Still one in this mineral line that ByuN has to deal with. Remember, ByuN has command centers for days, though, so it's not the end of the world. He can mule a whole bunch if he wants to as well. I mean, obviously losing SCVs isn't nice, and you'd like to actually be able to focus on mining, but like I say, not the end of the world, and that is going to be the last Lurker dead. How many on the map now? 1. And 4 more buildings, so the Reynors Lurker count is just completely gone here. Absolutely gutted, and now we're just going to see these Lings running through for the SCV line. They're going to try and chase those SCVs. Bio Army coming back across, chase the Lings away. Just going to be seeing our medevacs healing up out down on the south as well. And just going to be seeing our, well, another Lurker basically just getting picked off. So the Lurker gets picked off. Going to see the Lings back around the right side. Reynor definitely made this close. He's definitely not made it happen yet. And I don't know if he will, but he definitely did a lot to kind of stay in this game when he was in difficult positions. There was a lot of good decision-making in this game from both players, actually. I think you got to commend both of them here on how this game is being played out. These feelings will obviously not do a lot. Oh, the Ghost Cloak, and there was no Overseer. It's a shame, because otherwise those Ghosts were kind of on their own. And maybe the Overseer got sniped, and I just wasn't there in time to see the Overseer get sniped, but yeah, there's actually an Overseer there now, but it was just never in range, and the Ghost Snipes were setting up. Okay, well, ByuN is obviously establishing 5 bases on a map that has 6 bases max. Resources lost already massively in ByuN's favor. Reynor trying to make this style still work, as he's going to try and bring these Lurkers down the right-hand side and into range over here. Tank fire goes off, and just going to be seeing a couple Lurkers picked away at. Bio Army stimming through, and that's a lot of Lurkers going down. A lot of damage dealt. Oh, nice blinding cloud. Just going to see our Bio Army still trying to get away here. Getting caught a little bit. Corrosive files going down. Parasitic bombs going off. Just going to see the rest of this army continue to move back. And, I mean, I felt like Reynor kind of caught ByuN a little bit off guard there, but it didn't really come through for too much. As you see a few more snipes still coming into play. This army of ByuN is going to go back up through the top side. Is going to get rid of this Lurker here. And really is just continuing through the top to get some good damage dealt. Marine and Marauder just going to sit in this mineral line, blocking the Zerglings a bit as they come around. They're going to try and deal some more damage. They're going to get eventually a cleanup. Maybe, probably not. I mean, these upgrades apparently are just good. Of course, it's only missile upgrades, no melee upgrades. So trying to switch into like Lane Bane is going to be brutal. You can see the first melee upgrade of the game is on the way in right now from Reynor, but it will never get there as ByuN takes game 2, and we're going to a third game. Game 3. And the bottom left, sorry, excuse me guys. Didn't mean to clear my throat live on the mic. Bottom left hand side, our blue Zerg player is Reynor from Clash. I even ran a Clash hoodie today representing. On the top right hand side, our red Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion is ByuN. I saw a picture on Twitter the other day of a Shopify Rebellion hoodie, and damn, it looks good. Gotta get myself one of those. 1-1, tied up, going the distance in this best of 3. Reynor still opens pool first. He does not want to die to a proxy Rax. I do wonder a little bit if it is just proxy Rax. Obviously, we've seen Reynor being aggressive, but surely we're not going to crank out the roaches for a 3rd game in a row. They've been okay. And obviously, I mean, the continued roachling all in game 2 was maybe not the best, but I feel like for Reynor, it's time to just kind of smarten up. I mean, he said he wanted to play some quick games tonight, but at some point, when do you just say, no, let's smarten up, let's just play a long game or two, play a bit more of a, you know, not just play the super fast series, right, and just play the longer game, and you know what I mean? Just actually try and, you know, not get behind from the start is what I'm saying. Because it feels like that's somewhat what's happening, right? Not to take away from ByuN, I think he played a really amazing game, and I really do think that takes a lot of skill, and especially the patience too, because he really sat back and said, I'm okay not going, I'm okay not going, and now I push with all of these tanks he can't do anything about. SCV going to scout up the upper right, of course, because I'm gonna go scout, and there's a command center, guys. Okay, he's got a wall off, but I'm in, and the Terran's like, you know, buddy, this is your own base, and he's like, oh yeah, there was a Zerg base on the bottom left. Yeah, that was I didn't get all the way there. Reaper shows up and is just gonna see the creep spreading forward, is aware of kind of what's going on here, and let's just see our queen coming through. Pushing this back a little bit. Rolling is going to start moving forward, but the Reaper does take a step away. ByuN not trying to be too fancy with the Reaper. He appreciates he's playing with ping. He knows he cannot get too fancy. He knows it will go badly for him, so kind of happy just to kind of set out the back as we do scout a third hatchery. Sees that nice and quickly. And now Zergling speed on the way from Reynors. Getting that up and rolling. Now a starport building in the main base. A couple of Hellions popping out. This Marine going to be done soon. Little Reaper Grenade just going to keep those couple of queens away at the moment as well. Armory from ByuN, so he's just going to ramp up the aggression himself this time around. Obviously no roaches from Reynor, and so it's the perfect time to finally decide, hey, you know what, I am going to go and make some Hellbats. So Hellbats it will be. This Overlord didn't see the starport or anything either, right? So only saw a factory on a reactor. Means you really have minimal information to be working off of at the moment. As we do have, to the bottom side, Medevac and a few Marines making their way over here. And obviously the Hellions will join up behind them, morph into those Hellbats. Let's see how this goes. We're going to go Cloak Banshee behind this as well. Reynolds already setting up the counterattack. He is just a step ahead, isn't he? Oh, counterattack already coming across the map. That's going to be so annoying. If these two Hellions don't get much done. Well, SCV, go get the depot down. No! Well, okay, well, that's just a mess. We'll go sort that out in a moment. For now, Hellbats do get a wraparound on a couple of queens, but they slide out the side. Medevac at least not taking too much damage to begin with. Now it's being targeted right down, and ByuN does not pull away in time to stop that from happening. Of course, he's been trying to deal with this, and he does only lose 2 SCVs. But I don't think only losing 2 SCVs is good enough, because what happens is that he doesn't do anything with this Hellbat attack because he's out here dealing with it. He was moments away from that depot going down and the wall being up, and that's just a credit to how quickly Reynor was on top of getting a run-by across the map, because ByuN just was believing he was thinking about a run-by, he just wasn't expecting it that quickly. And if that run-by doesn't go off, who knows what the Hellbat control could be like, who knows how well he could do chasing down specific queens, etc. It could be a completely different situation. And she pops in and grabs a drone. Just going to be seeing the Spore Crawler going to slide on over to the right-hand side. And our Hellions of ByuN are going to make their way down to the bottom side again here. So just going to get to the edge of creep. And we'll find one active tumor, maybe a drone that's going to make this hatchery. Well, he finds little Zerglings at the same time, so he doesn't get that drone. Gonna fight the Lings, though, and to be fair, actually going okay. Blocks the hatchery, gets the drone, gets a lot of the Lings. Obviously comes at the cost of a few Hellions. Here come the Banshees cloaked up. Making a move. There's already a spawn in this base. We'll kill the drone over this side as Reynor was just deciding to expand elsewhere. And he gets a couple, but nothing major. And melee upgrades now on the way from Reynor, a little bit ahead of BYUN'S 1-1. Nothing too major overall there, just the fact that it's 14 SCVs in the lead, and oh, Banshee just went down as well. BYUN just, yeah, I mean, losing a Banshee on top of not getting that much damage done just means that Reynor's into a very comfortable position. He's already kept a good amount of workers alive and kept a good worker lead, and BYUN just losing potential to deal damage and to close the gap in this game already. Going to be seeing the Banshee chased away. The Queen's coming through to push that back. Now 1-1 upgrades are, like I said, on the way from both sides. And even going to invest into +1 vehicle weapons right away, as Reynor just going to drop the Hydra Den down, continue forward with this Lingbane Hydra style. So, getting set up towards that at the moment here already. A lot of Lings going to go across the map. They are going to come through and find a Hellbat there already as well. It's just going to pick that off. Our third CC down on the low ground. It's going to be seeing an additional Banelings morphing in from Reynor right now as well. Fourth hatchery building on that bottom right corner. A few Queens coming across to maybe drop an inject on it. Transfuse. Maybe even spread creep in this bottom corner. Or to intercept the Banshee. Wow. Pretty much all of the options I said, apart from the one that actually was the case until the end. Reynolds just playing very well this game. He's very well-rounded in his defense. He really isn't letting anything slip by. He's got answers when his opponent's attacking. And I just like where his composition is headed. Lingbane Hydra, sturdy, strong. Definitely a lot of potential to just have a strong mid-game, lead into Lurkers, and just go from there. Lingbane Hydra really made a bit of a resurgence lately, right? I mean, he's not making Hydras yet, but for a while you never saw this Hydra Den, you know, this early compared to when you're aiming for Hive and going into Lurkers. But obviously in this situation, this is a fairly quick Hydra Den. You will actually make Hydras without the intention of just morphing them into Lurkers. And that's where this is more kind of Lingbane Hydra rather than Lingbane Lurker. So I think that's cool, and I do think the Lingbane Hydra style, like I said, we've seen a few more games of it just as of late. So it's been kind of nice to see a few additional games and to see it being brought back again. It's been some good fun as our 2-2 upgrades coming up on the Evolution Chambers, our Marines coming via the Watchtower. You can see Reynor already has this counterattack set up, ready to make a move here, and just going to be seeing our Marines on the left side. Just gonna kind of try and find something. Now I see the main army begin to push out, and this is where this army's gonna come through. ByuN will have maybe a little bit of a pre-warning about this, depending on where that Marine sees. He might see the first few units kind of cutting across the edge of his vision, so he might have a little bit of an idea ahead of time, but yeah, as Reynor has a drop in his main base, that's something he doesn't move to right away. ByuN clicks the infestation bit, so has a timer now on when the Hive will be done. That's good info, but he doesn't pick up these units as Reynor is actually just going to come in and fight this. Brings the Banes from that right-hand side attack and actually just uses it as part of this overall army. And is able to just run on in, clean out the siege tanks at least, and go from there. And like I say, during that, ByuN was trying to fight over in the main base, and he lost all of the Marines because of it. So, again, the multitasking going in Reynor's favor. Trade after trade just ending up better off for him than it is for ByuN by quite a significant margin. Ouch. Reynor's army is pushing up this right-hand side. Gonna start burning through here. We're just gonna get these Banes going forward. There's a couple of Widow Mines. Wow. Oh my god, these Banes just ran past the SCVs. Could have already been a lot more workers dead. Is that gonna turn out to be a problem? Some more nice Baneling connections just on Marines. The Hydras, though, on their own will get cleaned out. A couple of Banes coming through to try and help them, try and give them a getaway plan, but it's not going to be easy, and the Hydras will be chased down. Okay, well, a decent fight for ByuN when you consider that all these Hydras die on the back end of it. And like I say, he could have lost a lot more SCVs here. Like, there was a line of SCVs right here that the Baneling just turned away from. Didn't go for it. That could have been so much worse for ByuN. He stabilized with the 4th base coming up. I thought this was a command center, but it's just 4 depots placed together. It looks like a command center on the minimap. As I say, man, he's already building a 5th base. ByuN'S just feeling it. He's feeling the macro. And no, not quite the case. There's 6 Lurkers on the way, a few Hydras coming through. Just seeing the Liberator making its way around the left side here. And, yeah, I mean, we continue onwards. The Hive are building in the main base. Opting for this late game tech. Playing Lurker. Maybe make a move around that right side. There's going to be a Bio Force pressing forward, and, well, Lurker's going to get burrowed up. Uh-oh, Bio Army maybe a little bit of trouble here. Lings don't really want to fight unless the Bio comes into the Lurker range, so kind of backing it up a bit. Now going to go, just because, again, what you want to be doing here is basically tanking for the Lurkers as they deal damage. You do have an army up here, and it looks like this Planetary Fortress is probably going to go down. And you can see the SCV is going to try and repair it, but I'm just going to crash through everything. It's expensive. It's using a lot of Banelings up. Does this maybe create something for ByuN? A counterattack potentially? Well, we will see. His army supply is huge. 118 to 83. He's already got an attack down over here. If he can deal with some of these Lurkers especially, right, and just take away from the Lurker count a bit. But these Lurkers are not well upgraded. They do not have Seismic Spines. They do not have Adaptive Talons. They are not the best Lurkers you're going to see. ByuN with a supply lead as of right now. I keep thinking he's going to have a 4th base. I really keep seeing these depots on the minimap. I'm like, oh my god, he's got a 4th base. He can take... it's just going to relocate the main base as the 4th. I mean, that's never pretty because obviously it's an orbital and not a planetary. So now just a few Lings could be devastating there. Nice catch on more f***ing Lurkers though on the bottom side of the map. Pushing forward into a Zerg that doesn't have a lot of Banelings ready either with a huge army supply lead. ByuN is kind of just going for this, kiting back a little bit. He's got his Widowmine set up, waiting for them to have the right chance to fire. Reynor just straight up running in. The Marauder's tanking well, though, and Reynor's supply is dropping. You know what? Not just dropping, it's plummeting. Queens are trading out transfusions, trying to keep themselves alive. Reynor rebuilding, Lingbane Hydra. The Lurker's helping to make this stand, as ByuN has a Lurker across the map he needs to deal with. Needs a scan, gets it, cleans it out. Now you can maybe think about reinforcing this army. 50 army supply in the lead. Reynor a counterattack on the way to the 3rd base. ByuN cannot really afford to lose much more economy than what he's already lost in this game, because if he loses more economy right now, he's going to be at the point where he can't even maintain the pressure that he's applying, right? He's just not going to be able to rebuild the little bit of rebuild that he needs. Fight after fight. Army supply is getting closer. Reynor has bought himself time just to get a little bit better off in this game with the 88 drones. Widowmines here need to protect, and they do so. Zerglings will not hit that unprotected orbital mineral line. That, like I say, you must protect this, right? Because a few Lings will just shred it, especially at this stage of the game. +2 melee in play. We are not on Adrenal Glands. Okay, Hive has not been up forever. Is Bio Army going to try and make a dive for this hatchery? Few Lings going down. ByuN moving the left side. He has so much army supply he can split very effectively. And that's going to make it complicated for Reynor, who obviously has to figure out a good way of splitting himself. Losing a lot of map control. He's going to try to counterattack again. ByuN will catch wind of this, and he will start bringing units back to fight this run-by. Still has the army bottom side, but that's with Lurkers and Queens, so it feels almost impossible to push into it. And now he starts stemming through. Widowmine's over here, and actually getting a good, decent, and couple of connections. Good startup, at least, and a lot of the Banes just going into Marauders, so not great for Reynor. A few Lings end up in the mineral line. How many SCVs? I'm going to say they get like 10 or so, and that'll be kind of crazy. As the Lurkers are trying to fight over here as well, trying to be a distraction. Obviously, ByuN is being kept on low economy, so he's not had much of a chance to really build into ghosts or other tech to help against the Lurkers. It's a big part of the problem here as he's stimming through the middle of the map, though. This Queen Lurker defensive force. Well, ByuN's going to have to escape out to the left-hand side here, but he's going to go for some of these Lurkers. He will kill a couple. He's going to lift up, leave, but okay, it wasn't a full medevac that went down. Obviously not mining the 4th base at the moment, so ByuN's economy is in some trouble. Definitely struggling from where it wanted to be. Spy army coming through. Widowmine goes off on the Overseer. No friendly fire damage, at least. These few units, medevacs are drained of energy, so there's only so much you can really do with them. In the end, the medevacs just lift them up, take them away. Reynor just continuing to run ByuN around this map. And it's this movement of Reynor's army that's really allowed him to be successful in this game, because there was a time where ByuN had a terrifying amount of units. But Reynor has obviously just kept ByuN very busy and very active, not actually taking the fights that would win him the game, but taking fights that will try and keep him in the game. which gives Reynor plenty of time to set up into fights that will win him the game eventually, which is, like I say, it's just been a really cool game from Reynor in that regard. As ByuN tries to fight now, you can just see he's struggling that little bit to break through anywhere. His economy really is dying off in the kind of latter stages as well. Just the few SCVs that you lose at this stage is so expensive. You just can't really afford to lose them because you've already lost so much more at previous points. And while he's killing bases and killing drones, it's all just a little bit too late, because now he has less army supply by a significant amount. And with that, he's just never quite going to get back into this. Lurkers here and there really are just making life difficult. I mean, this Lurker's been killing so much. This Lurker has 15 kills. This guy over here has 6. This guy has 6 as well. I mean, yeah, it's just the Lurkers. The couple of them left around here and there has been truly fantastic also as we just go on through. We really are at the tail end of this, guys, I think, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't even have scans right now. Lands the orbital, which is burning down, so you can scan the Lurkers and clean them up in his natural. And obviously, Reynor expanding behind it as well. When it got tough, Reynor kicked it into overdrive, and he did an amazing job. I can't stress enough. A really good job of just making sure ByuN could not take the fights he wanted to. Oh, don't end this game on hold position Lurkers. That would be brutal. ByuN's actually going to knock down these rocks. Well, those Lurkers will have to wait to strike, maybe flank. They're going to come around from the backside, perhaps, as we've got a lot of Lurkers here as well. How many Lurkers is this? 20 Lurkers? Okay. He's put the Lurkers here to maybe catch the army on a retreat, but it's not happening. I feel like Reynor really wants to have a bit of a stylish final fight as guns dancing, he's stimming. GG's called, and Reynor is going to take this series 2-1, gets to the semifinals. Excellent games, though. Really good.